Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're jumping right into a concept that is, no joke, fundamental to our entire economy: supply. It's the force that puts pretty much everything we use on the shelves and at our fingertips, and its story all begins with a really simple question. I mean, really, stop and think about that for a second. That coffee you're drinking, the phone in your hand, all of it. Where does it actually come from? It sounds so basic, but the answer? Well, the answer unlocks the entire story of how a market works.
And that story, it almost always starts with people. We're talking about entrepreneurs, folks who spot a need and take a risk to fill it. And they're not just guessing, they're operating based on a really powerful set of rules and signals that shape the world around us.
So let's start there, with the big why. Why should we even care about supply? Because this isn't just some abstract line on a graph for an econ class. It's the living, breathing engine of the market.
It all really boils down to two huge things. First, supply is what works together with demand, that's what we're all willing to buy, to set the price of, well, literally everything. And second, and this is so important, supply is the story of entrepreneurship. It's about people putting their own time and money on the line to serve you, the consumer.
So how do these entrepreneurs know if they're actually doing a good job? Well, that's where the profit and loss system comes in. Think of it like this. Profit is a giant thumbs up from the market. It's a signal that says, yes, you're using resources well to make something people want. And a loss? That's a big thumbs down. It's the market saying, nope, stop, those resources need to go somewhere else where they'll be more valued. It's the ultimate feedback loop.
Okay, so if entrepreneurs are the actors in this play, what script are they following? It all comes down to one fundamental principle, and it's called the law of supply. To put it super simply, the higher the price of something, the more of it producers are willing to make and sell. It just makes sense, right? If the price for, say, fresh-baked cookies in your neighborhood suddenly shot up, you'd probably see a lot more people trying their hand at baking and selling cookies. That's the law of supply right there in action.
And this isn't just some random rule. It's grounded in total reality. First, you've got opportunity cost. Entrepreneurs could be doing anything else with their time and money. Second, business is risky. I mean, really risky. A higher price offers a bigger potential payday to make that risk worth it. And finally, a high price is like a giant, flashing neon sign for other entrepreneurs screaming, hey, over here, people want this. Come get a piece of the action.
Now here's a little detail that trips up a ton of people, but it's so important. We have to understand the difference between a change in quantity supplied and a change in supply. So if the price of coffee goes up and farmers decide to sell more beans, that's just a movement along the existing supply curve. But what if a brand new harvesting technology comes out that makes it cheaper for everyone to get beans? That changes the whole game. The entire supply curve shifts. It's a whole new situation.
So that brings up a great question. What are these big game-changing factors? What things can happen that totally change how much a business wants to produce, completely aside from the price they can get for it today?
I mean, put yourself in a business owner's shoes for a second. What could happen tomorrow that would make you want to produce way more of your product, or maybe way less, even if the price you're selling it for stays exactly the same?
Turns out there are 6 main things, 6 key determinants, as economists call them, that can shift that entire supply curve.
And here they are. You've got technology, a new robot that makes cars faster. The cost of inputs. What if the price of steel skyrockets? The number of sellers. If 10 new pizza places open in your town, the supply of pizza goes way up. Even expectations. If farmers think corn prices are going to be high next year, they might plant more now. Each one of these things is a true curve shifter.
Okay, so we know producers react to changes in price. That's the law of supply. But the next really logical question is, how much do they react? Is it a tiny little bit, or is it a massive reaction? This is where a cool concept called elasticity comes into play. Elasticity is really just a fancy word for responsiveness or sensitivity. It just tells us how much the quantity supplied stretches or changes when the price changes. Can producers fire up the factories and make more stuff overnight, or are they kind of stuck with what they've got?
When supply is elastic, it means producers are super responsive. Think about something easy to make, like t-shirts. If the price of t-shirts goes up just a little bit, factories can easily ramp up production and flood the market with them. That's a big reaction to a small price change.
But when supply is inelastic, producers can't really react much at all. My favorite example is beachfront property. The price could double, triple, go to the moon, but we can't exactly make more coastline, can we? The quantity supplied barely budges, no matter how high the price gets.
And then you get the most extreme case, perfectly inelastic supply. This is where the quantity is absolutely 100% fixed. And the source material has this fantastic, kind of funny example. Imagine a research center wants to hire a living ex-president. They can offer $1 million, $1 billion, it doesn't matter. The number of living ex-presidents is what it is. You can't make more. The supply is fixed. It's perfectly inelastic.
So here's the crucial thing to remember. As important as supply is, and it's hugely important, it doesn't work in a vacuum. To really get what's happening in a market, we have to zoom back out and see how it fits into the whole picture.
And for this, the great economist Alfred Marshall came up with the absolute perfect analogy. He said trying to argue about whether supply or demand sets the price, well, that's like arguing about which blade of a pair of scissors is the one that actually does the cutting.
It's such a brilliant way to see it, isn't it? Supply is one blade. That's the entrepreneurs, the producers, the people making things. And demand, that's us, the consumers. Deciding what we want, that's the other blade. You cannot make a cut, you cannot determine a price without both blades working together.
Which leaves us with this one final thought to chew on. The next time you see a price tag on anything, remember those scissors. It's never just one force at work. It's always this beautiful, dynamic dance between two, the willingness of producers to supply it and the desire of all of us to demand it. And right there, in that simple interaction, is where the whole market is born.